Hey everybody. I am going to start a little project of my own. You're welcome to follow along, play along, stitch along. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't know how many days I'm going to do it. I don't know. I don't have a plan for that. I'm just going to do it. Um, I was going to put it out there like as prompts and stuff like that, but there's a lot of people doing other challenges, so I'm not going to do that. If you want to stitch along, that's fine. I'm going to make flags. Now, you may have heard of Tibetan prayer flags. This is sort of along that line. I thought I was going to call them spirit flags, but spirit flags are more like schools, like high schools and colleges, universities that have flags that support their teams and stuff like that. So that didn't really sit well with me. I'm not a religious person. I am a spiritual person. However, I don't want anybody to feel like they can't follow along because they want to do it as a religious type thing. I don't want anybody to feel like they can't follow along because this is based on, say, the Tibetan Buddhist thought process. That's not Buddhism is not a religion. It's a spiritualism. I'm not Buddhist. I kill bugs. I don't, I don't follow. I try and be a peaceful person unless you get my Irish up and get me mad, and then I'm not such a peaceful person. So, I'm far from perfect, trust me. But I want to just make some flags and send positive, happy, peaceful thoughts out to the world. That's what this is for as far as I'm concerned. You can do it any way you want to do it. You can research Tibetan prayer flags, peace flag project. There's stuff on the internet. One of the magazines, I think it was Cloth, Paper, Scissors, did an article on it. Jane Fazio, I think her name is, did some stuff with, putting a prayer flag project together back, like, I don't know, 2002 or 2012 or something like that. I can't even remember. And I came up with a lot of ideas, but I narrowed it down for me. And if you want to play along, I'd be more than thrilled. So I'm just calling it flags. The idea is to hang them outside so that any good intentions that you have to put into the world, put out there to the world, can fly away on the breeze and go into the universe and the atmosphere and be spread around the world. So I think it'd be really cool if every one of my subscribers wanted to do this. I know that's an impossible task, but if you wanted to, I think it would be amazing. So if you're on Instagram, I might come up with a hashtag to use for it. I don't know. Haven't gotten that far. Anyway, they can be as large or small as you want. There are no rules on the size. If you have a little balcony because you live in an apartment and you're not really allowed to hang things outside, you can make something really tiny and just maybe hang it in your window. And when you open your window, it can, catch the breeze. Or if you have a little balcony, maybe you can hang it on the inside of your balcony so nobody else can really see it, but it's outside. So it can be small. They can be, 6-inch by 6-inch. They can be, 3 by 5. They can be whatever you want it to be. If you have a beautiful garden and you want to make them bigger and hang them throughout your garden, you could do that. No rules, okay? Hang outside if possible. The weather is supposed to wear them down, so you don't want to use anything too precious that you might want to save. If you're hanging it inside, and you can hang it, say, in a doorway or a window that when you open that doorway or window, the air catches it, that's fine. If you don't want to hang it outside, don't hang it outside. Just know that you're prayers or your intentions or your good thoughts are going out to the universe. Supplies, a fabric base. You can use muslin. You can use colored fabric. You can use whatever suits your fancy. Anything you want that can be cut up, sewn on, stamped on, etc. The other thing I'm doing with this that might help you is go dig out supplies that you have from other projects that you may have done. Yarn, if you used to knit or crochet, or make beaded jewelry, or you used to use feathers in a project. If your kids had stuff left over from their projects, if you have stuff that's stuffed away somewhere in your basement, in a closet, old clothing, anything that you haven't wanted to throw away, but you're not using it, that goes for paints, stamps, stamp pads, inks, colored pencils, anything. Pull it out. That's what this project is supposed to be for, as far as I'm concerned. Fabric strips, pieces, leftovers, your Ort jar threads. If you don't know what an Ort jar is, if you stitch or you sew or do anything with fabric and thread, just save your threads and your, and your little tiny pieces of fabric. I'm trying to get my Ort can. I'm going to have to bend over. Okay, sorry. That's my Ort can. That's everything I've been working on for the last few months. Plus, I've taken stuff out of there and used it twice already. So I have little bits of fabric, and I have all sorts of threads. You know, if you have one of these, pull it out. Buttons, lace, ribbon. If you have ribbon, say, like even Christmas ribbon, but if you have fabric ribbon from some project you did forever ago and it's stuffed away somewhere, pull it out. Yarn, feathers, bells, mirrors, strips of fabric, strings, string, washers, nuts. If you have like a tool chest out in the garage, or your spouse does, and there are nuts and washers and stuff out there, pull them out. Paper clips. Pull out old paper clips that are in the drawer of the desk that you don't use anymore. You're also going to need twine, string, or ribbon to hang the flags from. Ribbon might be a little hard because it's so flimsy. If you have some twine or jute or string, butcher's twine that maybe you tie up a roast or a chicken with. I don't know if people do that anymore. My parents did it. I don't eat meat now, so I don't have any of that. I have some, but it's string. So I haven't pulled it out yet. I got to go find it. Find things that have been stashed away that you really don't have a use for until now. Even if it's like a shirt where you want to cut off the worn cuff of it and you want to use that. Anything. Just go find like that kind of stuff that you may have stashed away in places. So some of the ideas that I'm thinking of for the flags, as I'm making a flag, it's going to include one of these, or it may not. It may be that each flag I make, I think these things when I'm making the flag. And my purpose for me is that while I'm making these flags, I am thinking good thoughts. Now, there's a type of weaving called Sayori weaving, and it's very wabi-sabi, and it's very much about thinking peaceful, calm, good thoughts, and sending good thoughts into that process of weaving. And I know there's other crafts that include this type of thing. So kindness, joy, peace, love, peace. I love peace so much, I have it twice. Wisdom, gratitude, inspiration, freedom. More supply ideas, words that you have printed on fabric or you want to print on fabric with, say, a stamp pad. You can use your computer. If you have a computer and you know how to print on fabric, and if you don't, you can look it up on YouTube. It's really easy. Not all printers like it, but one sheet might not hurt. Printed, stamped, written. You can handwrite. You can, use a Sharpie and write on fabric. Test it first, because markers will tend to spread throughout some fabrics. Like as soon as you write on it, it'll spread into the fibers around it. Depends on the fabric, depends on the marker too. Something shiny, like paper clips, bells, mirrors, washers, nuts. That's where those come in. Yarn, strings, tiny pieces of fabric. Anything like even this little piece of yarn. I could take this out and I could couch it down with a piece of thread. Oh, you can't really see that very well. Oops. There, that piece of yarn. It got lost with the background. This little tiny piece of fabric. I could take that out and, put it down and put a few stitches in it just to hold it there. And this isn't going to be about stitching technique. If you want to practice your techniques on these pieces, this is going to be a really, really good project to practice stitches that you may not know how to do. Buttons, pins, old jewelry, pendants, single earrings, chains that maybe have a knot in them, but you've held on to it, etc. Strips of fabric, as I said earlier, yo-yos, Suffolk puffs, hexes, ruffles. I have all this stuff. That's the only reason I came up with this. If you have other things, then pull them out. If you have things that you used to use in projects, but you don't make those projects anymore, like I used to do the journal making, I don't do that anymore, but I have lots of stuff left over from it. Now, the colors, you can make it any color you want. You could do everything on a white background like this and use the various colors on them, okay, on your flags. However, if you want to make your background the color, then you can do that as well, and then put other either coordinating or whatever, contrasting, whatever colors on it. So if you want to follow along and you want to follow this, you can do that too. If you don't, do what you want. I think a lot of this I'm going to follow, and some of it I'm not. So blue is supposed to represent the sky or space. White represents the air and wind. Red represents fire. Green symbolizes water. And yellow symbolizes the earth. Those are just some thoughts. You don't have to follow anything that I'm writing. But if you have problems with coming up with the next project you want to do, and you're looking for something to do, and you want to sort of follow a little guidance, that's it. You could do that. So I am going to leave this here, just like that. I'm going to leave my hands out of it. You can screenshot it if you want to and write it down, but I'll be pulling this out along the way to help myself get some ideas of what to do. Some examples of what I pulled out. Now, I have a couple of different sets of fabric here. I have white, which is one of the colors, so I have two of those. Now, if I wanted to just use white fabric and use yellow on it, then I could do that. Then the next one would be white fabric, and I would use blue on it. And the next, so I'm not sure which direction I'm going to go yet, but there's some yellow. Now, I have these, I think they're 6-inch squares. I don't know. Let me see. As I mumble my way through. They're 5-inch squares. If you have old quilting fabric and you have bits that you used in a project, you did your project, the quilt is all done, and you have these pieces left over, pull them out. See what you've got. So I've got yellow, blue, red, green, and white. Okay. And then in this batch, this is some other fabrics that I have. I have white, I have a couple yellows, I have blue, which is almost a purpley blue. I have this red, I have these greens, lots of weird colored greens. So those are just examples of fabrics you might find in your stash that you could. Now, if you don't have these colors and you want to do purple and beige, if you want everything to be neutral tones, earth tones, go for it, because this is your project. You know, just pull it out and use it. Now, I used to make this weird thing called, I don't know why I brought these upstairs. They must have needed to come up with me. Called horse beads. And when we were riding horses, we had Tennessee walking horses. And Tennessee walking horses walk with a specific 4-foot beat. Like their feet touch independently. Well, no, they don't. Their feet, the left feet go right back, and then the left foot goes front back. So it's front back, front back, front back, front back, front back. Whereas a regular horse goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So a walking horse shuffles this way. And when you're riding, your body actually goes back and forth like this. Whereas on a quarter horse or a thoroughbred, different horses like that, you have to post because their trot is so bouncy. But walking horses aren't like that. Well, we used to make, or I used to make, rhythm beads. And the beads were on leather lacing. And I would use bells, and I would put words on the beads. I mean, put beads with letters on them on there for people who wanted like their horse's name or whatever on them. Anyhow, long story short, so I have these beads that I can use to put words on my flags. You know, if you want to go buy beads with letters on them, go buy them. If you have them, that's even better. So that's an idea. Then, because we used bells on the rhythm beads, I have all sorts of bells. So I have little bells, and I have, look at this Christmas bag. Ziploc bags last forever because I made these probably at least 15 years ago. So I have Christmas ones, and I have gold ones, and I have really big bells downstairs as well. I didn't think I wanted big bells, so I grabbed these because I wanted the small bells, as these are, and I have even smaller bells. So I just don't want anything to fall out of here because I don't want to be picking stuff up for. I even have these little bells here. So these little, like, teeny tiny bells. So these are probably the ones I'm going to use on my project here. But you can also find like brass bells on Amazon, Tibetan bells. You can find those. Hold that thought. I have my, where did I put it? Oh, my iPad's over there. I was going to show you. Of course, I don't have it. Okay. And then I also used to make dream catchers. I still have a whole slew of them downstairs. But I pre-stripped all of this fabric. And now I'm not making the dream catchers anymore. I used to wind this around the rings, the brass rings that you can buy, and then have streamers floating down. So I'm going to show you, let me get, I'll be right back. Hold that thought. This is an example of the dream catchers I used to make. This is one that hangs in my room. So, yeah, and beads galore. I usually have a feather hanging off of it. I have a giant one on my wall. I will put a picture in here, and I'll take a picture of, well, maybe I won't. I don't know. It doesn't show up so well on my wall. But anyway, this is how I make my dream catchers. And yeah, so there you go. So I also have feathers left over from those projects. Now, if you don't believe in using feathers, that's fine. Of course, I purchased these, but I think these would be really beautiful hanging on the dream catchers, on the flags. So as you can see, or hear, I have been like doing spiritual kind of stuff for a while. I very much believe in all of that. So yeah, I hope that you will join me and decide on something that you want to play along with. And I will start this probably sometime this week. And I won't post every day. I will post what I'm doing. I'll do some videos with me working on my pieces. And then I hope if you want to join along that you'll sit and stitch with me. As usual, I don't have a whole lot to talk about, but I can talk about the piece I'm working on, and I am going to go ahead and I will make it like a series in parts, and, you know, I'd be pleased as punch if you joined me. So let me know in the comments below if you would like to join along, and if, you know, you have any questions. Like I said, there's no rules. I'm just going to do this and have fun with it. And I hope you can too. So leave a comment, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, subscribe if you don't mind. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, it's not like you get anything. If you don't hit the notification bell, you don't get notified that I'm posting. So, and I'm not even asking you to do that. Just give me a thumbs up and leave me comments. I love comments. So I hope you'll join me. I hope this project is going to be fun for you and for me. And let's see what we can come up with. Okay? Thanks again for everything. I'm so happy that you always join me. I am very grateful. I love you all. And I'll see you in the next video when we get started on this little project. Take it easy, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.